Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Scola, and today we're going to be talking about Yin Yoga. So in my previous videos, I really just covered the four most widely practiced forms of yoga: Hatha, Vinyasa, Yin, and restorative, and then have started to break them down. So we're going to talk about Yin Yoga today a little bit more in depth. I love Yin Yoga. Well, these next two, restorative as well, are really some of my all-time favorite forms of yoga to practice. Yin Yoga is really so beautiful. As an observer, watching someone do Yin is probably like watching grass grow. It looks like it's really boring. It looks like nothing's happening, but really the most is happening beneath the surface. So Yin Yoga is all about working with the subtle energy of your body. If you're familiar with, or you can always look up the Chinese energy meridians, they are these energetic kind of rivers that flow through our entire body. And each river is connected to specific organs and things like that. They start in our fingers or in our hands or in our head or in our feet and end in other places of our body, but they travel and connect through specific types of organs and joints and muscles and things like that. So like the gallbladder meridian is more along the side of our body, the heart meridian more along the front. And say you have heart issues, you can do things like a heart-centered, heart-focused yin flow to help stimulate that heart energy meridian. So, there's different things you can do, and like one of my favorite resources is Sarah Power's Insight Yoga. She actually has the energy meridians kind of not drawn on her body, but drawn on the pictures, showing it in the pose too, and showing how that affects the pose or affects the meridian. So just like you have a dam for a river, it starts to build up that energy because it's blocking it. So say we are doing a side twist or pigeon pose or something, wherever we're compressing that joint is where we're putting the dam in. And so all this energy starts to build up. And then once we release that pose, then all that pent up energy pushes through that energetic line or block and then opens that line now for energy to flow more freely. So if you do have stagnant energy somewhere, that is a great way to then open up that energy. So if you have a lot of pain in your hips, or if one of your chakras is closed, that is a great way to help open and stimulate those blocked areas, so that way energy can just move freely through our body how it's meant to be. I have personally experienced a lot of energetic releases as well as trauma releases from my body practicing Yin, and it's a really intense and an amazing experience. For me personally, leaving like a Yin class where I experienced a release, it would feel almost like I would have these like quakes or tremors. I would just come home and I would sit down on the ground, and all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, I don't feel like really like that great. Like I feel kind of dizzy. I need to lie down, and all of a sudden my whole body just starts kind of tremoring and shaking, and I feel like waves of anger and happiness and sadness and all these different things. And then they kind of start to settle, and then I'm like, I would just feel really exhausted after that. So then I'd go to sleep, and I'd sleep for something crazy like 14 hours, and then just wake up like, bing, like, oh my gosh, like I just have all the energy in the world, like something literally unlocked in me, and like I just unlocked this like extra portion of energy that wasn't accessible to me before, and I'm just like, oh, I can take on my day, I can take on the world, and it just feels so incredible. So everybody's experience is really unique to them, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to you, and please don't be afraid of that. In Yin Yoga, we really learn to sit with kind of the being uncomfortable. You don't want to be in anything that's painful, but sitting with the discomfort is where we learn a lot about ourselves. It's how we learn where and why our triggers, come from, and how to release them so we can stop being triggered, and instead of reacting, actually learn to respond, and heal those areas of ourselves that maybe we've pushed down and forgotten about and tried to forget about, but still affect us because it never goes away. So Yin Yoga to me is really just a beautiful practice in of itself. And I do recommend someone be maybe more intermediate. I'd say you can of course be a beginner, but a lot of the poses are called different things. So like Sphinx pose is really like dragon's pose or something like that. It's just, it's different in Yin than it is in regular Hatha or Vinyasa. So that might be confusing. If you are an ultimate beginner and you are trying to also go to Hatha classes, hearing the poses being called different things might be a little bit destabilizing at first for your practice. So I would say with a little bit of a better understanding too of how the poses should feel in your body and where your edges or your limits are, is good to take into a Yin class, because again, you don't want to push so far and so deep that you're actually injuring yourself, because or you don't want to do that in any of types of classes. Yoga is meant to be a practice of healing, but it is really possible, since in Yin classes you're holding the poses anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 minutes just in one pose alone. And I think that Yin is a really great practice to help cultivate patience and stillness in your mind and in your body, and to kind of discover how you react to having to be in a certain pose or in a certain place for a period of time. What happens to your body, what happens to your mind, and how to meet that and work through that and kind of heal that in yourself. So I do, again, think maybe more beginner intermediate, like if you're kind of coming on the cusp of into intermediate to advanced yogis, Yin Yoga is a great practice. And I believe that Yin is really amazing, especially at night, when you're trying to kind of ground and wind down your energy, or if you're sick, or sometimes if you have low energy. I like to start my morning with Yin Yoga and then kind of evolve that practice more into like a Hatha flow. So I'm not just staying in Yin the whole time, but I'm meeting my energy where it's at and then working to move my energy up. So, but again, if you're more of like a beginner and you're still kind of understanding how the energy of poses and movements and the different styles of yoga work, then Yin more so in the evening, or if you're sick or exhausted, or if it's that time of the month for you, if you're a woman, it's just a really beautiful practice. And also I'd say it's a great supplemental practice if you are really physical, if you do some form of like high energy workout or you lift weights or anything like that. It's really great because Yin Yoga addresses the joints and the ligaments, and again, the more subtle energetic body, so it can actually help prevent you from getting injured or help you to heal injuries. So when you take a Yin Yoga class, you can expect things to be really slow and soft, and you don't typically get off your mat, like you don't typically stand up or anything like that. You don't want to use your muscles. It's really all about staying soft and cool in your body and working the energetic part of your body. Whereas like Hatha or Vinyasa, you're really working your muscles and building heat, and even doing breath work to help your heat build more. Yin is really the opposite of that, the yin to the yang. So it is important to, again, practice it all so you have a really balanced practice and a balanced life, balanced body, mind, spirit, and not just stick to one sort of practice. It's also great if you are more of like a pitta, like very fiery energy. it can help you learn to really ground and calm and cool yourself too. If you find yourself getting angry a lot, or you're very quick to move on to things and you're just hard driver or things like that, this will help to bring a little softness and sweetness into your life. So that's all the reasons why I love Yin and think it's a great practice to try. With a Yin class, you might want to wear more looser clothing. You don't want anything that's constricting, because you could be kind of blocking energy in itself. You don't want anything with like zippers or buttons either. So almost like really soft pajamas, nothing that even like scrunchies clothes, like that has the stretchy material. Just very loose and soft and open, the least amount of zippers and pockets and things like that, because you don't want to affect your subtle body at all. You just want to be able to lay into the pose. So if you love Yin, please tell me what you love about it and why, or if you've been wanting to try Yin but have questions, be sure to let me know. And if you'd like to deepen your practice, or as a yoga instructor learn how to incorporate the different kinds of poses and yoga styles into a class, learn how to sequence better, then be sure to sign up for my online yoga program that's starting January 4th. It's going to run for 8 weeks. We're going to meet twice a week for about 2 hours each day. And this will just help you feel really confident in designing either your own flows for while you're at home based on your needs and time restraints, or help you feel more confident just coming up with flows on the spot in your class. So if you have this whole flow planned out, and then all of a sudden there's this person with the X problem and another person with B problem, and you kind of have to throw that plan out the window or need to adjust it in any way, or if you just didn't have time to plan a flow at all, then this will help you feel really confident just coming up with one and just knowing and feeling comfortable in your body what comes after what and how to make a nice encompassing flow. So reach out to me for that. You can also find more details on my website, joyscola.com. I hope you have a beautiful day. Love you. Love and light. Namaste.